Picture this, a remote ranch in the heart of Brazil's wild Pantanal. A lone caretaker, Jorge Avalo, steps into the dawn, unaware he's being watched by a predator with golden eyes and deadly jaws. In a split second, his life is torn apart in one of the most bizarre true crime stories of 2025. What drove a jaguar to hunt a man? And what dark secrets lurk in this untamed wilderness? Welcome to Bizarre Globe, where we uncover the shocking stories that haunt the world. Buckle up, this one's a wild ride. In the vast untamed wetlands of Brazil's Pantanal, nature rules with an iron claw. This is a land of beauty and danger where caimans lurk in murky rivers, and jaguars, silent, powerful, and revered, prowl as kings of the wild. But on April 20th, 2025, in the small town of Aquidauana, Mato Grosso do Sul, a tragedy unfolded that would shock the world. A 60-year-old caretaker named Jorge Avalo, known to locals as Jorginho, met a fate so horrific it sounds like something ripped from a nightmare. This is the story of a man, a beast, and a creepy crime story that defies explanation. Let's set the scene. The Pantanal is the world's largest tropical wetland, stretching over 81,000 square miles across Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay. It's a place where life thrives in extremes. Flooded plains in the wet season, cracked earth in the dry. Jaguars, the largest felines in the Americas, are its apex predators. With Brazil home to half the world's jaguar population, these cats are both feared and admired, but they rarely attack humans. Or so we thought. Jorge Avalo was no stranger to this wild frontier. A seasoned caretaker at a private fishing lodge in the Turro Morto region along the banks of the Miranda River, he'd spent years tending to the property. Locals described him as hardworking, quiet, a man who knew the rhythms of the Pantanal. But on that fateful Sunday night, something went terribly wrong. Here's where it gets chilling. Jorge was last seen alive around 5:30 a.m. on April 21st, preparing coffee at the lodge's deck, a routine task. He'd been collecting honey nearby, a simple chore in a place he called home. But as dawn broke, Jorge vanished. No scream, no warning, just silence. What happened next would send shivers down the spine of anyone who hears it. Stay with us because this story only gets weirder. The Military Environmental Police, or PMA, was called in. As they scoured the area, they found more clues. Parts of Jorge's body were discovered scattered along the riverbank, some hidden in a jaguar's den, 300 meters from the lodge, deep in a thicket. The scene was described as gruesome. Blood, torn clothing, and signs the jaguar had tried to drag its prey to safety. Biologists later explained that jaguars kill with precision, their bite to the skull so swift the victim feels no pain. For Jorge, death was likely instant. But the question lingered, why did this jaguar turn on a human? Now hold on, this wasn't just a random act of nature. Days before, Jorge had filmed something chilling. Fresh jaguar tracks circling the lodge. He'd even joked, "I don't mess with her," unaware he was staring into the jaws of fate. Was this a predator pushed to the edge, or something more bizarre? Let's dig deeper because the Pantanal holds secrets you won't believe. Comment below, have you ever encountered a wild animal? To understand this shocking true story, we need to look at the Pantanal's delicate balance. Jaguars are solitary hunters, thriving on caimans, capybaras, and deer. Human attacks are rare. Only a handful have been recorded in decades, but something was different in Aquidauana. A video from 2020 recently resurfaced showed a local fisherman feeding a jaguar fish in the same Turro Morto region. This illegal practice, called cheva, conditions jaguars to see humans as food sources. The ICMBio, Brazil's conservation agency, had warned against it, citing risks to both animals and people. Had Jorge's lodge become a deadly feeding ground? The plot thickens. Jorge's brother-in-law, Valmir de Araujo, shared a chilling detail. Jaguars had been prowling the lodge for weeks, even tearing through an iron screen to enter a room where fish were cleaned. Valmir's video recorded after the attack showed these cats circling, unafraid of humans. Was this jaguar habituated, trained to hunt where people worked, or was it driven by desperation, habitat loss, hunger, or something else? The Pantanal's jaguar population has grown thanks to conservation efforts, but so has human-wildlife conflict. Here's where it gets downright bizarre. On April 24th, just days after Jorge's death, the PMA captured a male jaguar near the lodge. But here's the kicker: they couldn't confirm if it was the killer. Was this the beast that took Jorge's life, or is another predator still out there? Hit that subscribe button because this story's twists will leave you speechless. The captured jaguar was a magnificent creature, sleek, powerful, with eyes that seemed to hold ancient secrets, but its fate was sealed. The ICMBO announced it would not return to the wild, likely destined for a sanctuary or zoo. Why? Once a jaguar tastes human blood, it becomes a risk. Conservationists faced a heart-wrenching choice: protect the species or protect human lives. The decision sparked debate. Some called for culling, others for stricter habitat protections. In the Pantanal, where 90% of land is privately owned by ranchers, jaguars are often seen as pests, killed in retaliation for livestock losses. But let's zoom out. This tragedy isn't just about one man or one jaguar. The Pantanal is under siege. Deforestation, cattle ranching, and climate-driven fires are shrinking habitats. JBS, the world's largest meat packer, was recently caught buying cattle from illegally deforested farms in Aquidauana, despite a zero deforestation policy. As the wilderness shrinks, jaguars and humans are forced closer, igniting deadly encounters. Add to that the rise of jaguar tourism, lodges like Cayman, where guests pay to spot these cats, and the line between wild and tame blurs. As you're in Jorge's shoes, alone at dawn, hearing a rustle in the bushes. Would you run or freeze? This weird story around the world reveals a truth we can't ignore. Nature doesn't play by our rules. Stick with us because the final twist will blow your minds. Drop a like if you're hooked. Back to Jorge's story. His body was laid to rest after forensic exams, but answers remain elusive. The captured jaguar underwent tests to determine if it was the culprit, but as of May 2025, results are inconclusive. Some locals whispered of a second jaguar still lurking in the shadows. Others pointed to human error, feeding wild animals, encroaching on their territory. Biologist Caroline Leuchtenberger, who studies the Pantanal's wildlife, noted that jaguars are bioindicators. Their behavior reflects the health of the ecosystem. If they're attacking humans, something's wrong. Jorge's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a wake-up call. Conservationists, like those at WWF and Ampera Silvestre, are pushing for coexistence programs, workshops to teach ranchers how to protect livestock without killing jaguars. Meanwhile, indigenous lands, which cover 12.4% of Brazil, remain critical for jaguar survival, preserving millions of hectares of habitat. But the clock is ticking. Climate change, deforestation, and human greed threaten this fragile balance. Will the Pantanal remain a sanctuary or become a battleground? As we close this bizarre true crime story, one question haunts us. Was Jorge's death a freak accident or a warning from nature itself? There are theories that 3 jaguars fed on his remains. The Pantanal holds its secrets tight, but one thing's clear: in the land of the jaguar, no one is truly safe. What do you think? Could this happen again? Comment below and tell us your thoughts. If you were gripped by this shocking, true story, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more Bizarre Globe content. Check out our Bizarre True Crime Stories playlist for more chilling tales, or stick around for the next great true story. Thanks for watching.